Double XL up in the pen, you can't shake that. All the way gassed up, full tank, man. Moving too quick, keep the cameras in the playback. Dang. So tell me how you feel with it. You put a lid on it, I ain't got no chill with it. This right here your problem, you gon' have to deal with it. Lay it on the line, high risk, that's the meal. Take the meal. Yeah, we ain't never fall back. Hold our ground where we at. Never fall back. No lies on facts. We gon' stay right where we at. We ain't never fall back. Yeah, we ain't never fall back. And you can find me where I'm at. We ain't never fall back. We ain't never fall back. And you can find me where I'm at. We ain't never fall back. Been way down, never falter. Came with the hands out, get them off us. I'm 24/7 in the office. Pay attention cause I ain't repeating offers. Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Careful, whatever you bring me getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah, we ain't never fall back. Hold our ground where we at. We ain't never fall back. Hold our ground where we at. Never fall back.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics. Officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Fins Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
I'ma get it, you know I be on the way. You know I be on the way. Man on a mission, I'ma get it, you know I be on the way. Yeah, it's all hard, ain't no fear here. You ain't giving this to all, you steer clear. Never beat, I've been down and I reappear. You got some money on the line, you better put it here. Rolling in and doing that work. Check priorities, I'm doing that.
Good morning, Fin fans. I am your host, Ali the Persian. Put it in the chat if you guys can hear me. We had some technical difficulties, but we are here, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, September 25th, 6:07 a.m. in the morning, and this is Top of the Tailgate. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. I want to see everybody. We got a lot to talk about. A lot happened yesterday, and boy, as the title describes, it was a corporation of domination at the Miami Dolphins game versus the poor Broncos last night, or yesterday, I should say. So make sure you hit like and subscribe. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to have some fun today. We are definitely going to have some fun. Before we get started, though, let's actually shout out to our affiliates. Don't forget, we got Fanatics up in here, officially licensed everything. Get your new jerseys, your new hats, get everything you want, everything your heart desires in regards to your player for Miami Dolphins. Officially licensed everything. And soon you'll be able to get your NFL trading cards from them. Check them out. It's Fanatics. Use the link below. Helps the channel out. Tells them we sent you. So definitely check that out. In addition, check out Backroom Collections, your one-stop shop for something really cool, some canvas artwork that you can hang on any wall, anywhere, any place, anytime, right? They do custom work. They have a lot of other stuff as well. Check out Backroom Collections. And with all the shows we got up in here, make sure that we have the energy to keep it going. Check out Doobie Energy Drink, right? Doobie Energy Drink, it's all smash, no crash. Has everything that you need to be able to keep you focused. It's infused with a lot more vitamins and minerals than a lot of other companies' energy drinks are. And it has a lot less byproduct that is really bad for you as well. Flavors are off the chain, and if you don't believe me, check out Shake Money. He does videos on this stuff, revealing what he thinks and tasting it and everything. Check his stuff out. He will tell you the truth if you don't believe me. But if you want to save 10% off there, or maybe Backroom Collection because you want to get some cool canvas artwork, use code TFTG at checkout. Save 10%. So shout out to our affiliates down below. Also check out TFTGnetwork.com, right? Big one-stop shop at the hub for all of our shows, all of our hosts. You'll be able to read our bios there. We have blogs. We have instant Miami Dolphin news that's up to date every single minute that gets posted there. The blogs, articles coming. Yeah, I have some that are coming shortly. I spent last night trying to write some of them, so it's taking a little bit longer than I expected. But definitely check that out. What else, ladies and gentlemen? Check out our merch store. There's tons of stuff, right? Speaking of our merch store, what is this week? What did we announce after the game was over? It is Buffalo Week. Get your Buck Buffaloes t-shirts at tftgnetwork.com, right? Check that out. Tons of stuff in there, unlike any other merch store you've ever seen. So definitely check that out. If you want to save 10% off there, sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter keeps you up to date with everything going on in TFTG world, about events, all that kind of stuff. So definitely check that out. I say I got 15 people up in here, so make sure before we get to them, check out some of the other shows we got up in here. El Capitan show calling games on Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Color with coffee and a cup of color, and myself with Top of the Tailgate. We got Broken Take episodes coming soon. We even have Club Exhale. Yeah, I'm still waking up this morning. We got Club Exhale, so definitely check us out. Thank you guys for holding it down for me. I had a long road trip, and it's partially why I'm super tired today. But I'll go into detail about that. Shake Money with the drive time and the smoke lounges. We got Lewis in the smoke lounge as well. And with the crypto show and everything. Definitely check all that out. We got KPA with the fantasy talk, man. With the fantasy talk. Really cool stuff. And then let's not forget about Tonk's TMI Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, the OG is back. I gotta get Tonk on more shows, though. I really do. So definitely check out all the guys around here. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. We'd really appreciate it. Also, if you want more content, you want to be notified, or you want exclusive content, how do you become a member? There's 3 different levels: Amigos, Familia, and MVP. It's super inexpensive. I want to say the lowest one, which I believe is the Amigos, That one is like $2 a month. It's $2 or $3 a month. It's pretty inexpensive. So definitely check that out. Become a member. Get exclusive content. Get exclusive emojis that you can banter with the Buffalo fans. Right? You know which one I'm talking about. I made sure it was in there. So definitely check that out. If you don't want to necessarily become a member, but you want to donate to the channel, we really appreciate it. You don't have to, but we do. We do accept Cash App, Venmo. We also accept super stickers and super chat. Anything you guys put forward into the channel goes a long way. It helps us keep providing the content that we do, and it helps you guys getting content, but also primarily, we're all here about the enjoyment of providing you the content and enjoying talking about the things that we love or what's going on in the NFL. So we appreciate anything you guys do, everything and anything you guys have ever done. We definitely appreciate it. All right. How is everybody doing? Good morning. Good morning. Let's see who we got up in here this morning. I am exhausted. I can barely open my eyes, as you guys can see. Just to give you guys a heads up, I was on the road since Friday night at 8 o'clock. Went up to Jacksonville. What else? And then I was going through the night. Didn't get there till super late because I made several stops in between. And then we drove. I'm sorry. After went to my event with my daughter. Was in Jacksonville for a college event with my kid. We had lunch afterwards. I got to move it for a little bit. And then I drove straight home. Right, after 3.5 hour drive. Actually, stopped and it ended obviously. I had to make 1 or 2 stops on the way. But boy, was I dragging. I was so tired. And then the next day, I had to be up at 5 a.m. again for the game. So it was every day, 5 a.m. or super long drive. It was a hell of a week. I'm trying to wake up. I got my coffee. So I see some Facebook users loving the channel. Appreciate you guys. Definitely appreciate. Ooh, Marino's Goat with the very first message up in here. What's up, Marino's Goat? We got Brian's Brain. We got Heather Long. Good morning, beautiful Fins fans. It's a beautiful day to save lives. I think every day is a beautiful day to save lives, to be honest. That's me, though. Trucker Sean, 1981. Thank you, my friend. Good effing morning. We that team. That's right. We are that team. Good 70 burger morning, everybody. That's right, Dolphin Don. Who else we got here? Colin, bro, you're up this early with me. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. You need to. Did you do a shoey? At least put it in the chat. You did a shoey, or whatever the new thing is to do. So, yeah. Joe Levesque, how's it going? Good morning, sir. Daniel Sperry Sports, how's it going? Ends up Winsy, man. Wow, man. You were just on the show earlier today. With actually not earlier today, earlier last night. I believe that you messaged on the show and did super chat. We really appreciate you. Brian's Brains, Scrappy, how you doing, Scrappy? Salute to everyone. Salute to you, my friend. Dolphin Don, I already mentioned. Who else we get up in here? I like that A train with the emojis. Yep, that is right. Sackman56. I want to make sure I get everybody that you haven't shouted out yet. Sackman56, how you doing? Thank you, Fins Up Winsy, for becoming a member or renewing a membership. Whichever one that is, it doesn't tell me anything. Appreciate you. Eric Cooley, how's it going? That's right, it is Victory Monday. Shout out to you. Revo13, hey y'all, what's up? And G, what's up, G? How's it going? Yeah, make sure you hit like and subscribe. If you're on the Facebook side, come over to YouTube, join the conversation, have some fun. Let's celebrate Victory Monday. Or I'm calling it Domination Monday because that's what it was for me. If you guys don't know, I have season tickets. I go to all the home games, and that's what it was. It was a domination. I'll give you this perspective. I left. I went downstairs to start doing my halftime stuff when there was less than a minute left. There was about 56 seconds, right? And as I'm sitting there, waiting in line to get a couple beers or whatever, and I'm hanging out, I noticed I'm like, man, game already started. I'm gonna miss this stuff because that's usually what happens. I get stuck in line and I gotta miss like the first 3 or 4 minutes of the second half. It happens to talk, right? Anyway, I'm looking, and the next thing I know, there's a big roar, and we ended up getting the ball back, and then we scored another touchdown, and I'm sitting there like, what? And I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, oh my god, this is still the second quarter, right? I was able to get my beers, right? Go back upstairs where I was sitting, and actually enjoy the full second half, right? That's how funny it was. They the second half, the halftime had not commenced yet because whatever, what's the time, and the Dolphins just kept scoring. It was ridiculous. That's basically what my whole thoughts were yesterday. It was like, oh my god, I've never seen this before. It's so ridiculous. I mentioned it last night, and let me change some of this here. Let's give us some soft listening so everyone can hear what I got going on. And we'll do some Into Space type music. Here we go. So, if you didn't know, last night I described what I experienced from the very beginning to the end. And I described the atmosphere first. And let me tell you about the atmosphere yesterday. Yesterday's atmosphere, the best way to describe it is that it feels primed. And what I mean by that is there's teams that win all the time or are in the Super Bowl or in the big game, right? They have a swagger to them. That's the best term I can bring up. Swagger. And the swagger that I experienced, not just from like the players, but you now see it filling into the staff. Not just the staff, the stadium staff. That includes the security, the people that help you, ushering you in, helping with tickets, the people that work in the concession stands, to the people that work all through the different corners and crevices of the Hard Rock Stadium, right? They were primed. I've never been treated with such happiness and hello, thank you, and how you doing? Welcome back, and smiles and everything. I have never seen the people that work at guest services, right, on the 3rd floor smile so much to the point that they couldn't stop watching the TV that was behind them, right? I've never seen that. They didn't look bored one bit, right? And then it fills into other things going on, like, for example, the cheerleaders. I mentioned this last night, and I'm going to say it again. The cheerleaders, they're great as always. They always put on a great show. They always do, right? But this year, it just feels different. You can tell that they've put in the work just like the team has. You can not saying that they never did. It's just that I'm not discounting what they do. All I'm saying is that you can see that they have that swagger, that flair to them, that primed flair that tells you this is going to be a special season, a very special season. And that's what I experienced. And even to the person, and I can't think of her name, but she's a singer-songwriter that sang the national anthem. And if you know her, put her name in the chat if you know who it is. Even she was good, bro. And the whole crowd was into, the national anthem, as they always are, but it just felt louder. Even the fans, when we were chanting or saying, "Let's go Dolphins" or "defense" and stuff like that, it was 100% participation. Way much louder. the MVP chants, and yes, there were MVP chants. Let me tell you, the MVP chants were louder than I've ever heard them. And I've experienced this once before, but not at a Dolphin game, when it's so loud that the opposing team has to call a timeout, right? And I love seeing that in the NFL, and I will tell you that I'm surprised that they didn't have to call more timeouts, because it was so freaking loud, bro. My ears were ringing nonstop. That's how loud it was. And shout out to everybody that went to the game and all the fans that showed up. So we really appreciate you guys coming and participating. I said this last night, they got the wave going, right? And the wave wasn't just going from the third, level. It was the third level, the second level, the first level. We're even talking about the people in those executive suite chairs. And I even saw people, I could see people kind of doing it in their box seats as well, right? And it was going full circle, right? Full laps. I think they went around like 5 or 6 times, full 100% participation. It was awesome. You had to be there to see the wave. It was pretty dope. But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Primed for something special, right? I honestly, and I said this last night, I have never seen I've never seen the Dolphins with this much confidence. I've never back. Not saying it had to be Tua, but in the last 35, 40 years, or whatever long it's been since Dan Marino, I don't think I've seen a quarterback this confident. And confidence doesn't mean you have to be stuck up or snobby or prude about whatever, right? Confidence can be humble at the same time. And there's a conversation that he had with one of the beat reporters, and they asked him some questions, and he said it was about the team. It didn't say, yeah, you see that I did that. He didn't try to sit down and basically last any hater or anything like that. He just talked about the team. That's what Tua does. Tua always talks about the team, right? He's humble about it. He doesn't want to get into the conversation. Oh yeah, I'm the greatest, like Muhammad Ali did. See, what Muhammad Ali did, he didn't use it as, hey, just to be ignorant or so into myself. Muhammad Ali took the whole premise of saying I'm the greatest and owned it to not only incite his fans, but get under the skin of his opponents, right? And he did it religiously and so great that he actually I believe, and I know he was the greatest because of it. Everybody does that in different ways. Tua, on one hand, I think because he's humble and you've seen the progression year after year where he's gotten better and better. And now we're here, right? I know he is the guy. I know he's a franchise quarterback. He's dripping with such confidence that I know we can beat the Buffalo Bills. I never guarantee wins, but I have a feeling that we are going to win this Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. This is Buffalo Bills week. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this being Buffalo Bills week, right? The Wolfpack, I know I hate using this term because I know it bothers people that are super Tua fans, right? Tuaneers, whatever you guys would like to be called, please let me know. I will definitely address you that way. The Dolphin fans, the new Dolphin fans, the Twitter Dolphin fans, everybody from top to bottom, does not matter what corner of the earth you are, we have one common goal, right? And that is for our team to win and our team to be successful, right? Or, even if you're just a Tua fan and you want them to be successful, it still feeds into this. We all have one goal, let's forget about what we talked about last week for a whole week. That, let's forget about that. Not saying that we should forget, because we should make sure that doesn't happen again. But let's put our differences aside and come together legitly, right? Legitly, not like what we tried to do before, but let's legitly come together and support our team in this week to take it to Buffalo. Go to their stadium. Show them what Miami is, right? Let's be the Miami that we all want to be, right? And give them the beating of a lifetime. That's all I'm asking. I'm asking for everybody. Does not matter what side of the coin of our quarterback you are. It doesn't matter if you're on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. Does not matter. You can be an opposing content creator. I don't really care, right? You can be CB83. You can be Stephen D. You can be Batman, right? All these guys, right? Even if people that I didn't mention in that, if you have your own content channel, let's come together, right? Come over to our show. We'll come to your show. We will come together in one support, and that is to show the Buffalo Bills who Miami really is, right? Let's go for their Bills next. Let's give them a beating of a lifetime. And that includes you, Wolfpack, because I know I'm the president of the Wolfpack. I know I've said some things that I kind of regret. And that's another thing. Yeah, I'm writing an open letter apology to Chris Greer. And in addition to that, I've said some things even about our quarterback. And I will take them back because he's proven me wrong, as he should. And that's what I wanted him to do. I wanted him to prove us wrong. I wanted him to go above and beyond what anyone would expect. All right, we'll talk more about that today. Not sure where Color is at. He was up super late. He was up super early because I drove him to the game and everything. So he may not be coming around here. Charlie O'Donnell, how's it going? Our defense is not fully healthy. You're right. Our defense isn't. Neither is our offense either. So you have to understand what we did last night, or yesterday, I should say. What we did yesterday did not include Eazy-E. It did not include Jeff Wilson. It did not include Savon Ahmed. And you better believe it did not include Jalen Waddle. You understand that? Your quarterback helped to be part of breaking the record for a single game yards in a single game, right? And one of his top two receivers was not there. Let alone what is supposed to be grooming for his third receiver or fourth receiver, depending on how they use him, wasn't there either. His second choice running back, which we all believed it was his second choice at the time, was not there. Was not that either. But where there's not someone, there's another. And this other person, I will say, I was trying to figure out the best way to say this, and every time I think of like a certain movie or something like that, I always think of the movie called that phrase that people will say, "The eagle has landed." Well, A-Chain has arrived, right? A-Chain has arrived. The train is here. Get on the train, because the way he ran is a runaway train with no brakes, no stopping anytime soon, right? That's what we saw yesterday. He was one touchdown away for the record by a rookie running back, right? In a single game. He had 5 touchdowns. The record was 6. But even that record has not been broken in more than 40 years. And the fact that what he did has not been done anywhere close to that, holy crap. Hit the like button, people. Let's hit the like button. Let's get the show on the road here. So, I got my coffee. I'm drinking Seattle's Best. It's their breakfast brew. It's not bad. It's not bitter. Smells pretty good. It's a pretty good medium roast. And if you're wondering what I'm using as creamer, yeah, I'm kind of. My wife says, "Oh, you're kind of girly with your creamer," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm sorry. I kind of like the taste of pumpkin. I'm a huge pumpkin pie fan. I love pumpkin cookies, pumpkin beer, all that kind of stuff. And since it's fall, I figured I'd get some pumpkin spice cream. So make fun of me. I don't care. But let's get this going. So that's my coffee of the week. Color's not here, unfortunately. Otherwise, we would describe some coffee. Cause for cleats. Let's not forget about this. So today's cause for cleats is brought to you by TFTG Network. And again, we don't have any affiliation with this cause at all. We are just giving awareness. We're letting people know who they are, where you can find information, and a little bit about them, right? So today's cause for cleat is Salzbacher Housing, Healthcare, and Hope, or also known as the Salzbacher Center. Now, if you didn't know, Salzbacher Center is in Jacksonville. They're also nationwide as well. But SalzbacherJax.org. Again, that's Salzbacher, which is spelled SULZBACHERJAX.org. You're trying to find more information. Their mission is to provide our community with affordable access to housing, healthcare, and opportunities for economic growth. Their vision: a thriving community where everyone has access to housing, healthcare, and hope. So that is their vision. If you didn't know, the Salzbacher opened its doors in December of 1995 as the I Am Salzbacher Center for the homeless in response to the explosion of crisis. Homelessness that happened in the 90s, both in Jacksonville and nationwide. The agency was founded by three groups: the City of Jacksonville, a group of area businesses, and the United Way of Northeast Florida. Unlike other homeless shelters, the Salzbacher was founded on the premise that homeless persons need and deserve more than just a meal and a bed and their homelessness. Salzbacher provide a continuum of care approach addressing all aspects of homelessness, including housing, income, and healthcare. Over the more than 2 decades since the agency opened, the service has grown to include street outreach, primary health, behavioral health, and dental care for all ages, permanent housing, job placement, and early learning. There's a little bit more information here about who I Am Salzbacher is. And it is kind of interesting because even though his name is abbreviated, I keep looking at it and I'm like, Mr. I'm Salzbacher. I'm Salzbacher. Just thought that was kind of interesting. He lived between 1913 and 2001, just so you're aware. Salzbacher takes its name and inspiration from a man who exhibited extraordinary civic leadership and concern for the poor. I Am Salzbacher, or Mr. Salzbacher, was a successful insurance broker and civic leader who entered politics during the Jacksonville consolidation era and was elected to the Jacksonville City Council in 1968. Out of his concern for people experiencing homelessness, he helped raise awareness of the problem and convinced his fellow council members of the need to help for the city help. With the support of the city administrator Lex Hester and dedication of the homeless facility on city land was included in the 1993 River City Renaissance Plan. The I Am Salzbacher Center of the Homeless opened in 1995. Mr. Salzbacher died in June of 2001, and his spirit of giving his dedication to the poor lives on at Salzbacher. If you want more information about their history, what they've accomplished over the years, because they have done a lot more, including opened a pilot school based on health clinics, for example. There's a lot of stuff that they've done over the past year. Go to salzbacher.org. I'm sorry, again, that's salzbacherjax.org. I apologize. There you find out more programs that they provide, how to get help, how to get involved. Even includes how you can donate towards the cost, and as well as There's different programs about, how you can purchase suites, and the funds that, that you can buy, stuff that you buy there from them also goes towards donating. So they have different programs. In fact, this is Salzbacher Sweets by Sweet Pete's, actually. Looks like they have some candies or desserts and stuff that you can order. And there's donations based on what you're purchasing. So definitely check out their website. Again, that's salzbacherjacks.org. All right. That's our cause for cleats today. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. We're going to keep this going. So let's get on to the next one. So now we went for cause for cleats, and it's everybody's favorite what in the world, right? What in the world? Well, there really isn't very much what in the world to go over, but since I'm here, let me pull this up here real quick. Here we go. All right. So since I am here, what was kind of interesting, you've watched Kansas City, right? Kansas City is one of the biggest teams in the NFL right now. They have one of the pretty much what is the premier quarterback. They say is the next Tom Brady, basically, right? And in right to him, he's been to 2 Super Bowls. And actually, no, he's been to 3 Super Bowls. I'm sorry, he's been to 3, won 2 of the 3, right? And each year it seems like he gets better and better and better. And that's Mahomes, right? Well, with that, they also have a first ballot Hall of Fame coach, Andy Reid, right? Andy Reid, in his own right, amazing. What he does for coaching is ridiculous, right? And how he just keeps getting better and better. Well, he has a lookalike, right? Well, interesting enough, and I didn't know this, and I mean, Color talked about it. We weren't aware of this. So does Mike McDaniel. McDaniel now officially has a lookalike in the crowd, and you can see him here with his mic and standing in the crowd. So, shout out to this person, whoever this person was. But I found that to be very, very interesting. That he has a lookalike. I just thought it was funny. And I figured I'd share it with everybody. Because I don't know if you've seen the Andy Reid one. The Andy Reid one is like, you think it's Andy Reid. That's how good it is. But the fact that this guy I was like, holy crap, it looks just like him. So shout out to him. There really wasn't very much what in the world besides some of the stuff going on in the NFL. The Colts beat the Ravens with a backup quarterback. That was pretty interesting. Shout out to Gardner Minshew and company. Who else? Who else had a weird game? I heard that the Dallas Cowboys lost to Arizona. Boy, was I wrong on that pick. I had Arizona like getting killed. What happened to Arizona tanking for Caleb Williams? What happened with that? You know what I mean? They traded everybody away. They shut down their main quarterback and traded for the Cleveland backup. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. So, what in the world, right? These aren't really what in the worlds here in the Miami Dolphins. These are facts I'm about to give you guys. So, Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is an MVP candidate this season. I've already said he's the MVP, not an MVP candidate. If he keeps this up for the rest of the season, if they don't vote him as the MVP, then this whole league is fake, bro. I'm going to be straight up. It is fake. Because this guy is doing things that I haven't even seen Mahomes do, to be honest. And we're not talking about like the backyard type football stuff. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about the efficiency. I'm talking about the accuracy. This guy, if it was not for 3 drop passes, because that's all that we had last night. We had 3 incompletions only, right? This guy would have broken the record for most consecutive passes in a row in a game. So that was ridiculous. But he had, just so you know, Tua has 8 touchdowns, 1,024 yards, and it's only, in their record's only 3-0. That means it's only the first game of the season. That is ridiculous. This guy always seems to be on pace to put up massive yards. At least we saw it last season and the year out and today. It is ridiculous. 8 touchdowns. 8. So how many people saw this coming? Well, well, according to some, in the beat writer world or even in mainstream media, they didn't pick Tua to have this type of season. No, they picked Joe Burrow, who hasn't really shown up at all this season. They picked Mahomes. Obviously, I'd pick Mahomes too because he's the guy, right? Well, hold on, Mahomes. You may not be alone in that conversation anymore. There's a guy that we have here that is putting up numbers, and he's doing it in an efficient, productive manner, right? In a way that's so accurate that he could definitely make a run for your money when it comes to the MVP this year, right? If you didn't know and you didn't watch the game, go check out, because not only did he put up the numbers, not only was he so efficient, no turnovers or anything, right? This guy decided, you know what? I'll take a page out of Mahomes' style of play and did a LeBron no-look pass style toss to the running back, which went straight into the end zone afterwards, right after it was caught. I've never seen that. I've never seen Tua. In fact, the way he threw it with his right hand, of all things. Yes, he threw the ball with his right hand. It almost looked like he went to run away and the ball flew out of his hand accidentally, right? You could think, okay, that might have happened. Maybe it was planned, maybe it wasn't, before you talked to him. But then later on in the game, in the third quarter, I want to say, he does it again. He did it again, the exact same thing, right? Then later on, you find out that, hey, I know I did this, but, it's those guys. Those guys caught the ball. They did the work. He just did whatever he needed to make it work. That was pretty much it, right? That's what he said. And listen, that in the game alone, if you watch it live, on TV is one thing. Watching it live, oh my God, bro. Oh my God, that was ridiculous. After that play in that drive, the MVP chants were so loud, screaming. You even had Tyreek up by the bench and looking into the crowd, jumping up and down, MVP, MVP, and chanting and getting everybody riled up for Tua and everything. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So just give you guys some perspective. Like the stuff we're gonna bring up today, it is not what in the world. It is holy crap. What is going on? Our team is ridiculous, right? It was ridiculous. Listen, I mentioned this last night that Tua now is himself. And I'm not saying that he's the Alabama Tua. No. In fact, what I'm seeing from him, he's even better than the Alabama Tua. I'm going to tell you straight up, right? But when I'm saying himself, he can have fun. He can joke around. There's videos of him joking around with Teron Armstead during his interview, throwing Teron Armstead off. You know what I mean? There's like, you see this kind of stuff. He can joke around, the guy is playing comfortable. That means there's no pressure. He knows he can do this. He has the confidence now, right? The guy can just sit back and smile and like, hey, how's it going? You saw him cheerleading on the sideline with David Long when Brooks made a huge run, bro. It was crazy. You saw him running from one end to the other, right? You saw Tagovailoa just chill, no pressure. Didn't look like he was forcing anything. Didn't even feel like he even had to really worry about anything, bro. He could be himself, take his time. He's probably just... There's this movie with Sylvester Stallone. I can't remember the name of it. Put it in the chat if you remember. Sylvester Stallone plays a F1 race car driver, right? And he's kind of like past his age, but he was like a badass back in the day, right? And they bring him in to kind of teach the upcoming rookie, the young kid. Young blood, as some people will say. And he is on the track, and he gets into this mode where he's like in the zone, and he starts humming. People's like, what does that sound on the radio? It's him humming, right? And it basically signifies that nothing else is bothering him, and all he's focused on, and there's no audio or anything that he'll hear, because he's just focused on the track, and he becomes one with the track. Tua was humming with the field, bro. It didn't matter that the first read or the second read or the third read wasn't there. He knew where the fourth read was already going, right? He knew where every person was going to be before they knew they were going to be, right? He spoke literally to the field, and the field spoke back to him, right? I know that's crazy. I know that's what in the world, but that's the segment, right? That's what Tua is doing, right? I've come back from watching the Dolphins over the years, and I've made comments about how why does our quarterback have to be this guy? He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He doesn't seem confident. He doesn't care. That I like the Cutler years. Oh my God, I hated it, bro. Because the guy would walk away like, I don't care. I'm just collecting a paycheck. You dude. Seriously. Excuse my language. I know it's a morning show, but what I'm getting at is that this guy made me a believer, bro, in this game. It is ridiculous. Now, not that I didn't believe he could get it done. This guy is basically has me at a believer at the point where I'm almost certain it's going to get done. You know what I mean? And what I mean by getting done, I'm talking about he's going to take us deep into this playoff, maybe even to that Super Bowl game. He's starting to become that Super Bowl contending quarterback, right? That's what he is right now. It is very special. I would recommend all of you to pay attention and be a part of it. Come to the games, right? Don't let Buffalo or all these other chump teams come to our home and try to take over. There was a lot of Bronco fans. And shout out to them. I don't really have problems with Bronco fans at all. I know it was a tough weekend for the state of Colorado, with Colorado losing to Oregon, and then you got the Broncos who got decimated by us, right? Which could have been even worse. Mike McDaniel showed you mercy, and I hope you guys respect that. But what I'm going to tell you is that I need Miami Dolphin fans to show up at the game, all the games, versus the Giants, versus the Jets, versus New England, versus the Buffalo Bills, right? Dallas game, Tennessee game Monday night, the Carolina game. I need all of you guys, everybody. If you know somebody that wants to go to the game, send them over to Ticketmaster. Send them over to Vivid Seats. Go send them over to what's the other one that everyone uses? Game Time app or whatever it's called, right? Get them tickets. If you know people that are selling tickets for the Dolphins game, go ahead and get them. You want every seat to be filled by a Dolphin fan. Let's make it a true home game for the rest of the season. I challenge everybody to that. All right. Now we're going to get into our next segment here. Let's see what time it is. It is 10 till 7. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. I want to see who else is in here. Mr. Pog. How's it going, Mr. Pog? Welcome. Jan Fins fans. Best believe The Rock will be a jam-packed for every game. That is true. Jan, you are absolutely 100%. It's been a while, sir. I hope you're doing great. 100%. It will be jam-packed. It literally will be jam-packed. It was packed last night or yesterday. But I think it's going to be even packed going forward. But I want it to be, 98% or 99% Dolphin fans. That's what I want, right? Or 100% Dolphin fans. Don't allow this other team buy tickets. It should be a home game every game. And I know the New Englanders and the New Yorkers and, the Buffalo Bills and Jets fans, they are very well traveled. A lot of teams are a lot more traveled than I expected. But I know those teams really bring everybody out. And I want us to make sure we try to hold on to those tickets as much as we can. New Finland says, I pray this team stays healthy so the NFL can continue to witness this run. Mike McDaniel is special, and he got the perfect team for his system. You have no idea, bro. People were questioning, is Mike McDaniel really a genius? Yes. Yes, he is. He is definitely a genius, and I'll tell you why. It doesn't matter what roadblock you give this man, he will prove you wrong. I said it earlier this week that Travis Wainfield, I believe it was Travis Wainfield, asked him, and mentioned Patrick Surtain Jr. and how he's going to basically contain one side of the field and not let you do very much on that side. Well, Mike McDaniel laughed it off and said, Travis, hold my beer for a moment. And he exploited every side of the field. Didn't matter if it was the left, center, the right, center, or the left. Does not matter. He used every weapon specifically in a certain way that maximizes what you could get from them. It didn't have to be the first read. It didn't have to be the second read, but the third and the fourth. And all of those reads, what did it turn into? Positive yardage, first downs, 5 yards, 6 yards, 10 yards, 20 yards, right? Yak all over the place. He was yakking so much. It sounds disgusting because all it is yards after catch, yards after yak, throw up everywhere of yak. That's what it was, right? Even the one they called back on Tyreek, which I think was stupid because I honestly think that he wasn't down. But thank you for the people that watched the game at home. They verified he was down. They got to see the replay. We didn't. Imagine if that was actually, they didn't call him down and he ran. Talk about yak yards. Oh, it was crazy. Yeah, was it Patrick Surtain that got burned on that play? Mike White threw a touchdown pass, something I don't think I've seen him do this entire preseason, in the preseason games. I saw him do it quite a few times in the training camp, but not in a game, right? Mike White threw a lovely pass directly into Chosen's hands. Chosen could have kept running and just run it straight in. I don't know if he did it on purpose or maybe he didn't feel confident enough getting by that last guy, but he runs east to west across the field about from the 10-yard line, getting all the way into that last corner to get the touchdown. I felt bad because that guy kept chasing him. I was like, oh my God, get it in already. It took forever, but it was an amazing pass. So he even scored. So definitely. And speaking of Chosen, he played a lot more than I thought he would. They used them in different roles and they were successful at it. So rock and roll, definitely. Yeah, that is a good point. In the limited time we saw Mike White, he had better stats than Zach Wilson. Technically, he had better stats than Zach Wilson when he was there as a Jet as well, in my opinion. So, wow, it was Surtain that he beat. Cool. I have to go back and watch the replay. I have not done that yet. I was so tired and, with kids and all the traveling I did this weekend. But it was definitely worth it. Every minute of it. If you're just joining us, welcome to Top of the Tailgate. We're talking the Miami Dolphins. Some people call it Victory Monday. I'm calling it Corporation of Domination Monday because as a corporation, as a team, we dominated yesterday's game. We did. The offense 100% lead from top to bottom, dominated, right? The defense, it wasn't pretty at first, but they started getting better and better. They were getting pressures. I told people, you pressure Russell Wilson. You stop the deep ball, but you get him throwing in the flats. He doesn't do it very well. And it started showing. A lot of throwaway passes, a lot of deep passes that just couldn't make it. And shout out to Deshaun Elliott and Javon Holland, making sure that was, that was being taken care of. What else? Agba finally got on his feet. And surprisingly, I said this yesterday, you didn't see Agba in the stand-up position at all when you did see him, right? He had his hand in the dirt, and he was getting into the backfield, getting into creating more pressures, causing I believe he got a sack, and he also caused an interception. Yeah. I have to check on the sack because I thought it was him. It could have been somebody else, though. Let me actually see what he got credited for. Let me look at that real quick. Okay, where are we? Here we go. There we go. I think he was the one that got accredited for it, but I'm gonna check real quick. Yeah, Emmanuel Ogbah got the sack. I was correct. He got the one sack that we got yesterday. That's the one thing we're lacking, people. You get this defense start creating sacks on a regular, yeah, it's going to be a great season. But definitely several, tackles and whatnot. But he also had the interception too. So that was really cool seeing Ogbah get that. So he has definitely had a really good day with his hand in the dirt. And that's what I thought. Seeing him in the stand-up position, one, it didn't look right. He didn't ever seem to get the pressure he wanted. It just wasn't working. Guys like Jalen Phillips and Ginkle, those guys can do it from the stand-up position and rock and roll with it. Good for them. But I'm glad that they still allowed Ogbah to do what he does best, get his hand in the dirt and rock and roll with it. It was good. Very, very good. What's up, Shake Money? I see you in here. Definitely. Shout out to you. If I missed anybody, shout out to everybody. I want to make sure that I shout out to everyone. So Crazy Dolphin or Mr. Fox says, Coach McDaniels is a mad scientist going crazy and forced to become our Dolphins head coach and is unleashing experiments that is turning the NFL upside down. Yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the Miami Dolphins have put the NFL on notice, right? He has. I know I'm turning it up a little bit. And as this week goes along, I'm going to turn it up. Every day, in fact. To the point where you're going to hear my voice a lot. You're going to hear my voice get loud. I'm going to be lighting fires all over the place when it comes to Buffalo Bills fans this week. But right now, I'm trying to enjoy the game that we just had, just so you know. It is going to be nuts, right? Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins, the entire team from top to bottom, has put the NFL on notice. The game now that you perceive that's going to happen in Germany is becoming that much more important. Not just for the Miami Dolphins, but for the NFL. That game may be the most watched game this season because it's an AFC preview. The best, the elite, the God quarterback versus Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa, right? That's the narrative. For the Miami Dolphins, an offensive juggernaut that I don't think this league has seen in a long time. And let me explain. The best show on turf was the St. Louis Rams. They had Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, various different wide receivers, which I can't even think of their names right now, but you know who they were, right? This team is talented enough offensively that I think that they can give that team a run for their money. We could be this age's, greatest show on turf with the amount of potential talent that we have. You saw what you got from Tyreek Hill, right? I think he is on pace to get his 2,000 yards, like he said. You know what Jalen Waddle brings, right? You know what Tua Tagovailoa does with his accurate pinpoint passing, right? Super elite accurate pinpoint passing, right? Now you have a running back behind them that brings something I don't think we've seen in a long time, right? The A-chain is here, right? I'm on that train. Are you on that train? That's a good question. This guy puts up 5 touchdowns. He finally got some playing time and puts up 5 touchdowns, right? I don't think we've seen that in a long ass time. 5. Ridiculous amount of points, bro. Ridiculous amount of yardage. Had over 100 yards. When was the last time we've had some over 100 a couple times, I will say that. But not like this over 100 yards for rushing. It was ridiculous. And just to put perspective on it, not only did he have over 100 yards, Devon Achane had 203 yards, 2 touchdowns rushing, right? Actually, this might be... Okay, maybe it's 4 touchdowns he had. I swear he had 5. For some reason, I thought he had 5, and I think 1 is not being counted here. Because they had 5 up here earlier. He actually had 2 touchdowns rushing, 2 touchdowns receiving. Right? 203 yards rushing. And according to this, he had 30 yards receiving. That is ridiculous. You know, Devon Achane, he got targeted 4 times and had 4 receptions. He was 100% catch percentage in that game. The guy averaged 11.3 yards a carry. 18 carries for 203 yards. When was the last time you saw that? I love Mostert, but have you seen Mostert do that in a long time? 203 yards like that? I haven't seen it. So let's get ready for some time for some football. We're gonna bring up some articles. I'm gonna just read to you guys. It's currently 7:03 a.m. We're in the second hour of Top of the Tailgate. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. I appreciate if everybody does that. Go. All right, so Dolphins Bronco Week 3, the 5 biggest plays. We'll talk about this first. This is by Alan Papar. The Miami Dolphins improved to their 2023 record to 3-0 with their franchise record 70-20 blowout victory against the Denver Broncos at Hard Rock Stadium on Sunday. They ranked the 5 biggest, most important plays of the game. Let's see if they're on par with what I stated. Tua's touchdown pass to Tyreek. This was the first touchdown, and this is what set the tone for the entire game. Oh my Lord, that was ridiculous. There are so many plays that made a difference in this game that we don't know where to begin. So maybe we should start for the very first big play, which came on the 3rd snap of the game. Yes, the 3rd snap of the game. It was a 1st and 10 from Miami 44 when Tua went back to pass, and as would be the case most of the game, was given great pass protection. Yes, he was. Robbie Chosen curled up deep over the middle, drawing a deep safety to him, unaware that Hill was running across the middle behind him. From there, it was an easy pitch and catch and sprint end of a 56-yard touchdown and a quick 7-0 lead. I saw that happen live. It was ridiculous. The crowd was super loud. Tyreek's already up to his antics, diving over the back wall or jumping over the back wall, and celebrating with fans, jumping up and down with his team. It was amazing. It was amazing. I love it. I love seeing Tyreek do that kind of stuff. And he set the tone for everybody right off the get-go. I just got a notification. I wonder if it's some breaking news. Let's see. Yeah, nothing yet. That's old news, actually. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. So that was the first one. Number 2, Van Ginkel's fumble recovery. Not that the outcome really ever was in doubt, but the Dolphins pretty much slammed the door late in the first half with 2 touchdowns in a span of 4 plays. The second came right after Andrew Van Ginkel recovered a Cortland Sutton fumble after Javon Holland simply slapped at the ball and returned it 29 yards to the 3-yard line. When Raheem Mostert's 3-yard touchdown run on the next play made it 35-10, it was pretty much lights out. That is true. Number 3, Devon Achane's 26-yard run. This was pretty impressive. No, we're not going with Achane's long touchdown run because the outcome was settled by then. Rather, we'll go with the 26-yard pickup on the Dolphins' second drive when he followed Teron Armstead at the second level and used his speed to move the ball to the Denver 35-yard line. That was a big play in the drive that made it 14-0 and kind of established the Dolphins would be able to run at will moments. That is correct. We were able to run at will. Even Brooks got in on the action. Mostert did get his as well. He ended up getting his rushing touchdowns and stuff that he needed as well. So shout out to him as well. Number 4, Devon Achane's 40-yard run. Yes, he had a 40-burger as well. Again, we're skipping Achane's long touchdown run in favor of another of his runs, the one that set up the Dolphins' first touchdown of the second half. Not that it would have made a difference on this day, but the Broncos made the strange decision to punt on 4th and 5 from their 42 on their first drive of the half, down 35-13. Though they did pin the Dolphins at the 40, all it meant is that the Dolphins would have to gain. All it meant is that the Dolphins would have to gain more yards to their next touchdown. Achane's end around, which, with a lot of open grass in front of him, moved the ball to the 5-yard line, and Raheem Mostert went on to score the 4th on 4th and goal. Yeah, that was pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Number 5, and this is the last one. And we've mentioned this guy's name, both of these guys' names actually, specifically Bethel. Bethel has starting to play a role around here. Don't forget that person's name. You're going to see it a lot more. I expect it in the next game, the game after that. I think that you're going to see his name all over, to be honest. Maybe the most key sequence of the game happens late in the second quarter, after the Broncos stuffed Alec Ingold on 4th and 1 from the Miami 34, giving Denver the ball and great opportunity to cut into the Miami Dolphins 21-10 lead after they had kicked a field goal. But the defense pitched a 3-and-out after Denver started with a false start penalty, and the biggest play in the drive came on 2nd and 14 when Van Ginkel dropped Javonte Williams for a 3-yard loss after Justin Bethel forced him inside with great contain. The Broncos punted after a 3rd down incompletion, and the Dolphins then marched 86 yards to extend their lead to 28-10. Denver would never be that close again. That is a fact. Those are some things. I'm glad they actually pointed that out. We all love the touchdown and the scoring plays. We all love talking about it. But sometimes the biggest stories are not always the touchdowns, right? It's not always the scoring plays. It could also be the little things that players do, the little intricacies, and you can see the chess match being played out, and how it led to that, right? That can be more impressive. Example, the first game, and I want to say he did a little bit on the second game, you see Tyreek moving or running before the ball is even snapped, right? That's stuff we didn't really see as much last season. We're now seeing it in play, and it's creating lots of different looks for Tua, not just to Tyreek, but to his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th read because of that motion that they're putting him in, right? Yesterday's game, for me, and shout out to Miss Fins, we mentioned it first, but I'm going to land on it. The Miami Dolphins were motioning all over the place. It wasn't Tyreek by himself. You had Tyreek motioning. You had the tight end motioning. You had the fullback motioning. You had a receiver motioning over left and right. They were motioning all over the place, and it was causing confusion on the defensive line of the Denver Broncos. I want to say they had like 3 or 4 false starts that really were created because of some of the motion that was going on. I can't tell you. And it was like one after another. Now, I know we had some flags also. We had some holding calls. Okay, I'll give you that. I think there was like 2 or 3, right? But not like the false starts. The false starts were happening over and over again. And yeah, you could see they were definitely using it to their advantage. But even when there was not a false start, it didn't matter because the motion was creating the open lanes. It's like you're watching Tua put these players in the motion. Is like watching him figure out a Rubik's Cube that quickly. And he was doing it like every play, like almost instantly. Oh, I see you over there, you over here. Like, oh, you're over there, well, you come over this way. He was creating the lanes before even snapping the ball every time. like a Rubik's Cube trying to figure it out in record-breaking time. That's basically what Tua was doing. All right. You're going to notice a shift in my my thought process on Tua. And I don't want to hear that, oh, you're not part of the Wolfpack anymore. Listen, the Wolfpack was never, ever negative group. It was never a negative group. The Wolfpack was designed to be an ultra fan. And what I mean by that is we hold our team to a higher standard. I want my team to be damned almost perfect every time, right? Or at least show me that when shit is going to hit the fan, you're not going to just sit there and bulk up. You're going to go ahead and bring it and do whatever you can to try to win. I don't care if it's the most boringest play ever. I don't care if you just have to run the ball 1,000 times. I don't care what the name on the back of the jersey is, as long as you're winning, right? Tua, Coach McDaniel, the Miami Dolphins are doing exactly what we asked. They're winning. They're using every possible tool at their disposal, and they're doing it dominating. They are dominating the offensive line. Do you guys realize? I want to say Tua's only been sacked once this entire season. I still think we're on that one sack, right? He's been barely even touched. 2 out of the 3 games was out without Teron Armstead. Let's put that into perspective. This offensive line is performing way better than I ever expected, right? And you can go back to my Twitter feeds. You can go back and go all the way down and see all the comments I made attaching the Miami Dolphins on there, saying that Chris Grier needs to go if he's not going to protect Tua. I yelled at the top of my lungs, please, Chris Grier, address the offensive line, right? Yeah, we brought in Isaiah Wynn. Yeah, we brought in, some of these other pieces to see if it would stick or whatever. We never really fully addressed it. And he made comments saying that, you guys are more worried about the offensive line than we are. Now I see why. He knew something we don't. That's why they get paid the big bucks. That's why they make the millions that they do, because they know more than we do, right? I got to put that into perspective. And, A-Chain, I know I was on the Jonathan Taylor hype, and I still am on Jonathan Taylor hype. Don't get me wrong. Just because what A-Chain did doesn't mean that I don't value Jonathan Taylor, right? I'm still on that train, right? And it's not because I have any doubt in A-Chain, because I no longer do. He's proven it in an NFL regular season game that he can handle it. He proved it to me, rock and roll. Buffalo Bills is going to be a different animal. Can he prove it there? I have faith that he can. Will it be as dominating? No. But it will. I have faith that he can handle it. I still want more. I want more because now that we've shown the league that we're not one-dimensional, we're a multi-dimensional team, both running and passing, right? I want them to double down on it. Not only do you already have an amazing superstar running back in the making in Devon A-Chain, but we could have another running back here, and we'll just use Jonathan Taylor as an example, like that type of player that is that much more dominating as well. Can you imagine having both of these guys as your running back? Pick your poison. Do you want the fast speed burst, killer instinct of Devon A-Chain? Or do you want the slow roasting? I'm not saying he's slow. This is really not really the proper term, I should say. Let's just say he's going to smoke you style of running back. It's going to be a smoking kill, if you want to call it that. I don't know what the proper term is. I'm just so freaking excited. You have these type of players. See, Super Bowl teams go out and address, they bring in depth of positions they don't need. The Eagles did not need Melvin Gordon to get to the Super Bowl. But they added him because they understood that at some point they may need the depth. They didn't need to bring Sue as a defensive lineman last year to make the Super Bowl. No, they didn't. They had more than enough guys, more than enough sacks to go around. In fact, they were the one of the most monster defensive lines in the league last year up until that Super Bowl game. right? But they did. They signed him because they understood that when they pull someone else out, they want to bring in someone that's just as bad, or I'm sorry, just as good, to bring that fear to the offensive line, right? That's what Super Bowl teams do. It's not that they're addressing needs. It's what they do to add to the room that's already not, doesn't need the need at all. It makes you wonder what they know that the other teams don't, right? So that's why I still would do a Jonathan Taylor move, let alone outside of Devon Achane. I think the other guys are all really on 1-year deals. I think Mostert is really a 1-year guaranteed type deal. So you're going to end up having to address the room anyway because you got to add people. So will it be more Mostert and Jeff Wilson? Mostert will be another year older. I don't know. Jeff Wilson, he's been missing from this. He hasn't gotten anything because he's been on the PUP list or whatever. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's go to the next article. I want to read this next one, and then we got some videos to watch that we're going to watch as well. So, and this is Omar Kelly's takeaways on the offense, right? Takeaway from the Dolphins' offensive explosion against the Broncos by Omar Kelly. Maybe it was the hometown ties, the fact Mike McDaniel was playing against the franchise that gave him his NFL start as a ball boy and assistant coach years later. Or maybe the Miami Dolphins' second-year head coach wanted Dolphins owner Stephen Ross to walk away from Sunday's 70-20 beatdown the Denver Broncos, bragging that the decision he made to hire McDaniel was the right choice and the draft picks lost for tampering with the coach on the other side was insignificant. That is true. Those are all logical explanations for why the Broncos, who are led by Sean Payton, the coach Miami tried to lure out of retirement and got caught tampering with during the 2022 offseason before they hired McDaniel, got trampled by McDaniel's team. Based on how the Dolphins played Sunday in the home opener, setting 13 franchise records, the Dolphins organization doesn't need to live with regret about losing out on Peyton because Miami looks like a force in the NFL this season. Here are 6 takeaways from Sunday's win. I mentioned this word earlier, efficiency of the Dolphins offense, right? Well, efficiency of the Dolphins is record-setting, according to Omar Kelly. The Dolphins broke or tied 13 team for individual records in Sunday's win over the Broncos, and that includes setting a new team record of 350 rushing yards. I'm going to say this again, 350 rushing yards. But McDaniel's credits quarterback Tua Tagovailoa for being the catalyst of the offensive explosion and the success Miami has had in the first 3 games, which produced the NFL's number 1 ranked offense. You got that, people? We're number 1. Not only are we number 1, our quarterback, and I'm going to go back to Tua, is number 1 in almost every category. I just want to point that out there, right? McDaniel pointed out that Tagovailoa was critical of himself after the New England win last week because he wasn't calling the plays off the call sheet fast enough after the coach called it in. What Tua is doing is beyond the stat sheet because we're doing a lot of movement. All the how does he pronounce this word? Orchestration and lack of pre-snap penalties starts with the quarterback, McDaniel said. This is true. It all starts with the quarterback, and he was orchestrating a hell of a show. Let me tell you, a hell of a show. No turning back from Devon Achane. 100%. Now we know why McDaniel was giddy on draft day when Miami took Devon Achane in the 3rd round. The speedster from Texas A&M used Sunday's game as a showcase opportunity, gaining 203 rushing yards and scoring 2 touchdowns on 18 carries and scoring another 2 touchdowns on 4 receptions. He turned into 30 yards. it'll be interesting to see what happens to A-Chain and his role when Jeff Wilson Jr. comes back from injured reserve after one more game, but the toothpaste is already out of the jar. Jeff Wilson who? Who's Jeff Wilson? At this point, I don't really care. I'm on a train and there's no brakes and it's flying. And that's exactly what A-Chain did last night. Or yesterday. I keep saying last night, but I meant to say yesterday. It feels like all in one day. I apologize. All right, next thing. No Waddle, no problem. This is huge. I don't think people realize you didn't have Waddle, you didn't have Eazy-E, right? And they were still able to find ways, even passing away from Tyreek, right? The Dolphins used the entire receiving arsenal to fill the void created by the absence of Jalen Waddle, who sat out Sunday's game because of the concussion he suffered last week. Win over New England Patriots. River Craycraft started in Waddle's place. Shout out to Color. That's Color's favorite receiver. Got to start in his place. That was pretty cool. But left the game because of a shoulder injury he suffered in the first half. That's some bad news for me because last year, just like this, he was starting to create a rapport with Tua and get on a roll, and then he's injured again. Hopefully it's not serious. You know, shoulder injuries, I verified, depending on if there's no surgery required, the pain can go away in anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. That sucks because that means that's another month without him being 100%. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. We'll find out when the injury report comes out. Waddle's place. Sorry, hold on. There it is. Braxton Berrios, Robbie Chosen, who was called up from the practice squad, and Cedric Wilson all contributed. But it was Chosen's 68-yard touchdown from catch from Mike White that put the league on notice. Miami also leaned on the tailbacks catching passes. Raheem Mostert and A-Chain caught 11 passes and scored 3 touchdowns through the air. These are some facts. Mostert was really good in the air yesterday. Teron Armstead is a force in his return. No joke. Teron Armstead, the Dolphins starting a left tackle, had a dominant performance in his return to the team Sunday. Armstead, a 4-time Pro Bowl selection, could be spotted downfield on a number of Miami's bigger runs during Miami's rushing performance, which totaled 350 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. While Armstead might not be fully recovered from his ankle injury that put him sidelined a month, and a knee injury that got him placed on the PUP to begin training camp, he used Broncos game to prove that he's still a force, making numerous second-level blocks. No joke. He was definitely a force. The ball finds Van Ginkel. This is not a joke. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Last week, Christian Wilkins joked Andrew Van Ginkel has a horseshoe up his backside because of how often he finds himself around the wall. And would you know that linebacker proved exactly how lucky he was when Cortland Sutton fumbled that Javon Holland force ended up in his hands. The linebacker returned it 29 yards and set Dolphins up in the red zone on a drive they ended with a touchdown. Van Ginkel replaced Jalen Phillips, who left the game with an oblique injury, and finished Sunday's contest with 3 tackles, 1 for loss, a quarterback hit, and a forced fumble. With domination, there's also some things that happen. You got guys like Craycraft, you have guys like Jalen Phillips who got injured again. Hopefully the oblique injury and the injury to Craycraft's shoulder are not serious. I need everyone to play healthy. I want us to be there, bro. I want us to be ready for the next game. I want to take every game seriously. Now, why I say that, even though we had such a dominating performance, because we destroyed the Broncos, right? And because of how well we did in what we did, basically putting the NFL on notice about the Miami Dolphins. Every game now is a trap game. We're expected to beat these teams, right? we're going to be expected to be the ones that win. We're no longer going to be the underdogs anymore with this type of offense, right? And because that being said, you need to take every game serious. Don't sleep on any game. 100%. Ogba having an impact. This was the last thing. Emmanuel Ogba has struggled to find a role in playing time with the Dolphins defense in the first 2 games. But on Sunday, the Dolphins' 2-time sack leader made an impact. Not only did Ogba pull down an interception on a ball Russell Wilson had batted down and returned it 5 yards, but he also contributed the lone sack of the Miami in the game. He also had another quarterback hit and another quarterback pressure. That is what I'm talking about. He took advantage of the situation, put his hand in his dirt, and he went after that quarterback. That's exactly what he did. So make sure you hit like and subscribe. This is Top of the Tailgate. We're talking about the domination of yesterday's game. We've talked about our team. We talked about what Tua has done, record-breaking all over the place. It was great. The one record we could have broken, which if we just scored those extra 3 points, we didn't. We decided they had enough. Don't be surprised if you find out that the Denver Broncos have fired their defensive coordinator, who is Miami's former defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph. So don't be surprised if you see that happen. You know, you didn't know Peyton called his defense coordinator out last week and now this week. Yeah, I would expect him to be gone. So very sad for him, but we did show them some mercy at the end. I don't know what the reason for it was, but we did it. So it is what it is. I don't really care. We won and we dominated. Everyone knew we could have broken that record. Everyone knows it. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Let's keep it going. I have some videos that we're going to watch. And let me make sure that this is shared properly so you can hear it. Here we go. All right. And let me turn down our music. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
$700.
Where's Barry? You just scored again.
Barry doesn't come to the game.
Mike McDaniel already asking where Barry Jackson is. Put that out there.
He's at home watching this from his couch.
So, I'll let you guys tweet this. Hear that, Barry?
700 yards of offense, 10 touchdowns. What can you say after that?
That's a lot of players executing a lot of things to a standard that's unrelenting. I think you see where guys are at. For me, when you have a lead, so many leads are vulnerable in this league. So we'd talked at length all off season. You go, just about adversity, and sometimes adversity is having a score or two lead because you can let the atmosphere dictate your product. So what I saw from a lot of guys, and specifically when you're talking about that type of production, well, that's guys really taking it to heart that we have one op with this team in 2023, and we're going to make the most of it and be unrelenting with our standards. So I've said it time and time again that it's an incredibly coachable locker room, and they definitely earned that victory.
A totally coachable locker room, which means that they accept the information that he provides. He accepts the information they provide, right? What that means is that there's no roadblocks. They can filter in their agenda without anyone questioning it any longer. You don't have people in your locker room questioning, why is Mike McDaniel doing this? Why isn't he putting me here? Or, losing the locker room. There's no sight of it. The unrelenting standard of Tua Tagovailoa and this team is starting to come in fruition. They're starting to move as one flowed unit versus individuals. That is what you're seeing, right? That's why this team is so good because and I said this last night. It's not just Tyreek doing all the stuff that he does. It's every aspect or every position that's doing things. The offensive line, the receivers, what Alec Ingold does. Even though Alec Ingold didn't get that, what was it, 4th and 1? Yeah, I understand. I do agree with Jay. Brooks does need to get a little bit more short yardage experience. I definitely agree with that. But even the stuff that he does off the ball it plays a part of the puzzle, right? And that's what's so amazing. Let's keep it going.
3 different weeks, 3 different celebrations from Tyreek Hill. This week was he hopped in the stands and celebrated with everyone.
Like after I never see celebrations until the or the coaches film because I'm turning around looking at the series on to the next. So is your question that do I teach him the dances?
How do you rate this one compared to last week?
I didn't see it yet, but what did you think?
It's pretty exceptional.
I thought last week was pretty good. I think that part of what we try to do with the Dolphins is work relentlessly hard, but in that process, try to have fun doing it. I think it's hard to score touchdowns in this league. So when you do, if guys want to take an extra 5-10 minutes to organize something or have a plan, I definitely positively reinforce it in team meetings by closely reviewing those celebrations so that they are held to the same standard as our play, and hopefully it was organized and good.
Did he just say that he evaluates the touchdown dances in practice and make sure it's held to the highest standard as they are? Oh my God! Good morning, sir. This dude. Oh my God, that is funny. First of all, I don't really think coaches really evaluate that. I think he was being, he was just trying to joke around about it. He does, yeah, I understand. I don't expect him to sit there and watch the touchdown dance intently after a drive they just scored. He's probably turning around and like looking at the tablet, trying to see all the plays, what they were doing defensively. He's probably on the phone with the defensive coordinator. Hey, this drive, I kind of need this so we can keep this, moving. He's probably communicating with the team, getting the next drive ready. He's probably doing a lot of stuff. He doesn't have time for that stuff, right? Let's be real. But if he actually does do that, just saying hypothetically, because I don't think he does. Hell, hey, at least he's holding his entire team from top to bottom, no matter what it is, to the highest standard, right? To make sure that they put all the work in 110%. Someone said, hey, do you think you could have worked a little bit harder on this? Hell no, we did it already. That's basically what I'm seeing here. I just think it's funny. We'll keep it going. Yes, JR Black, I do agree. We got a real one. Let's keep hearing what he had to say though. Let's keep going.
Is that you can't carry over the points from one game to the next, but to score 70 points, something that hasn't been done in decades. What do you think that can do for this group as they progress?
No, I think that's an example of the thing. Shame on us if you put a ceiling on what you're capable of. If you just worry about the right things, you don't worry about anything but your technique and fundamentals and your assignment within the team. You don't worry about stats. You don't worry about credit. It's amazing what a group of people can do going in one direction. So I think, the points don't carry over, but I do think this is a meaningful game for a lot of guys to understand that to not let an opportunity on the field together slip through your fingers in any way, shape, or form, because you know, collectively, we have, you know, all the right people to do some pretty cool stuff on the football field. So, you know, I think that it's just incredible. It just goes through my mind like a Rolodex, like all of the intentional work that goes into it by the players. You know, I think of April 17th, the first time we met together. I think of the first day of phase 2 on the field. And, you know, there's just a lot of people working and buying in and leaving it all out there. And you get some you can have some pretty cool stuff happen. You know, I thought today there was a lot of that, but I was most proud of the unrelenting nature. We had, I think it was the first game outside of the Houston game last year where we had a lead of maybe 3 scores or more, or 3 touchdowns or more going into half. And that game we ended up, you know, it ended up being pretty close at the end. So you want guys to learn from stuff. And there was, you know, case in point, I think was the first series of 4 and out by the defense in the second half. I believe it was. And then, you know, I'm not sure if it was the first or second series that we ended up scoring offensively. So we just kept, you know, it's so key that you don't let the ebbs and flows of a game interject into how you play football. It's so important, whether you're down or up. And I think that's the biggest thing that guys can learn from this game.
You know, I just thought of something, you know. He said earlier in this question that he doesn't really look at stats, you know, and stuff. And it made me think, you know, I understand someone mentioned that he didn't show, or I'm sorry, I mentioned that he basically showed mercy to the Broncos, and someone I want to say it was JR Black, I forget who it was, but somebody said here that he didn't show mercy. He just showed what what a high class guy he is. He's a classy guy, right? Yeah, you're right. But I'm gonna give it into a different perspective, right? What's up, caller? How you doing, my friend? Good morning. But what are going back to what I was trying to say is that the Miami Dolphins, right? Their objectives obviously should be Super Bowl now. It should be. That's what it should have been all off season. When you make moves for like Ramsey, you're in talks for maybe a guy like Jonathan Taylor. Your output is no longer just trying to get into the playoffs. It is Super Bowl or bust, right? What are stats? Stats are split up into 2 groups. You have team stats, and then you have individual stats. What are records? Records that are held individually, or individual records, right? Based on a player's performance, right? So I honestly don't think that Mike McDaniel, actually, I actually don't think I should say, I think that Mike McDaniel doesn't give 2 cents about records whatsoever. He's showing you that I'm a serious guy and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure, 1, we win the game. And 2, when I do have time to do whatever the hell I want, including something like this, I'm going to make sure my guys learn from it, or at least do what they need to get their experience in certain ways. He's never going to take an advantage of a game that way just to throw up the score. He's going to continue to run the ball to make sure that those 3rd and 4th stringers or backups are continuously getting the experience that they need to be used later on in the next game to get the rushing and stuff and the experience from that to use later on in the season. Color, are you there with us now? Color, if you can hear, you might be on mute. Oh, what's up? Good morning, sir. How are you?
Little hurting, little beat.
I
So,
figured as much. It's all good, sir. I kind of let you sleep, and I told you I was backstage, but I didn't want to wake you up, bro. I know it was a long ride yesterday, so hell of a game,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, so we're listening to what Mike McDaniel said. There was a question: did Mike McDaniel show mercy to the Broncos, um, or was it his high class? Now he mentioned that he doesn't really look at stats; it's not important to him, kind of thing. And I kind of agree, bro. I think he's more about the team now. It's all about the team, not the individual stats. And you're seeing that both from Mike McDaniel and your star franchise quarterback, right? Tua, because that's what he is now. He is a franchise quarterback, and he's proven it. My point is that they are saying team, not I or individual, right? Um, so I think he'll put the team above an individual stat any time of the day. And it has to be a productive stat. He wants to see production out of his backups. He wants to see them do the right thing and doing, not letting anything get past them. You know what I mean? They've have the game won. Let's just close it out like you're supposed to.
Right.
And that's what we saw yesterday.
So why then would he turn around? And this isn't to challenge you. This is just to ask the question for maybe people to understand it a little more.
Sure. Go
Why
ahead.
would he then take one of his players who's been struggling at his position and put him in a situation to ruin the entire festivities of the day by missing a field goal?
Yeah. Why would he do
It
that?
was. I mean, it wasn't a short, necessarily a
It
short
would have been
field
like
goal.
a 48 yarder, I think. It would have been like 50
And
yards or
so,
something.
and so, where are we at now? If Sanders goes out there and misses that kick, bro. Not only are we crapping on Sanders, but we're
Mhm.
blaming him for ruining the specialness of the day.
Yeah, he just got done mentioning the Texans game last year. Remember? We were up like by like 3 touchdowns and then ended up being like a really close game in the end. He didn't want that to happen, bro. You already have a dominating win. Just close it out, do the right thing, get this game closed as quickly as possible and get out as healthy as possible. That's basically
Exactly.
what he
Protect your players, protect them physically, and protect their, them from themselves.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And you don't and yeah, you guys have to understand professional sports, we like to say for us it's emotional. You have us on the highs when you're winning, you have us on the lows and stuff, and that momentum that the fan base is on. But the team's mental momentum is a big thing as well, right? If you have a dominating performance, everybody from top to bottom should be on a high, 100%. I'm ready to go, and they can take that mental attitude or that confidence of that and actually use it to their benefit in the next game. That's a real thing, right? But if you miss a field goal that would have broken a record, you're going to be so heartbroken that can mess with you psychologically in the next game. Do you understand what I'm saying, Color?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean by protecting
Yeah.
them from themselves.
Yeah. So that's just another way of saying it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. So if you're just joining us, this is Top of the Tailgate. Color's finally joined us. Hit the like button. We're going to keep this going. I have one more video after this one to show anyway, which is going to be Tua's video. I thought he said some interesting things, so let's keep it going.
Were you aware of the scoring record in that last series? How do you, as a head coach, how do you deal with that? 'Cause you don't want to embarrass your opponent at the same time, but at the same time, it would be kind of cool to have the scoring record. How did you balance that as a head coach?
I don't. I try to think through all of my decisions and hold them with the importance that they do have. It felt like chasing points and chasing a record. That's not what we came to the game to do. That doesn't have a bearing on the overall season outcome. And I just didn't. I saw it as in that 10 times out of 10, you uh, you concede and kneel down in those situations because there was a attainable record that was cool, but the message that I thought it would send wasn't really in line with how I view things. It's awesome to, I think it was the most points since '66 or something. I think that's awesome for a regular season record. You can have that and then suffer the same fate as we had last year. I don't care about that regular season record. It would have been cool, but what we're trying to do, I think talking out of both sides of my mouth, if we went and tried to send the field goal team on and squeeze an extra three, it's not really what I'm about.
I thought that it's not like it was 40-7. You weren't trying to embarrass them, but it was just in the flow of the game that it was a NFL history possibly being made, as opposed to just scoring and something that.
It's not. It doesn't really. If you, I will be fine getting second guessed by turning down NFL records. That's fine. I am very, very okay with the decision. And I think the team, notably the leaders of the team, supported it. The captains supported it. It's not the way you want to get the record. So I would hope that if the shoe is on the other foot, the opponent would feel the same way. And that's called karma. And try to keep good karma with the Miami Dolphins.
Tua had an efficient day.
No, I'm sorry.
I'll pause it. Hold on. Go ahead. What do you got for that color?
Karma is paying back the rest of the league for them doing that unclassy stuff to you for the last 30 years. That's karma. Well, at what point do we get to pay? Do we get to be the instrument of karma's action? You know what I mean? Why does it always have to be the other way around? Where we're trying to preserve karma. No, don't conserve karma. No, we are the instruments of karma now. But I get what he's saying at the same time,
I'm gonna take a different look at it. So I understand, and I kind of agree. I told you I agreed with you yesterday, right? But I'm gonna look at it a different way too, just to kind of build perspective here, and maybe it creates a different discussion. I think he's taking the more positive karma look at it. The more I pay it forward by not going overboard and killing people, the end result will be positive. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's what I think he's trying to make sure. Because you think about it, yeah, these teams had done this to us, but has Jacksonville ever won a Super Bowl? No, it has not amounted to a Super Bowl whatsoever.
Well, I don't even point to that case as an incident of it. That was just we were jet lagged, we were whatever. I mean, I don't think they ran it up on us per se. It was 35-0 in the first quarter. What were they supposed to do? You know what I mean? You got to keep playing the game. But when it comes, the ones I'm referring to are the John Harbaughs of the world. On an obvious tanking team, you're going to run up 59 points on them in their house. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Stuff like that. But it is what it is. You're still the better person.
I hear you.
As far as McDaniel's still taking the higher road, and that's something to be commended.
Yeah, let's keep it moving, color.
That you had come in with Mike White and Robbie Chosen. Can you just touch on those guys staying ready for the opportunity and when it comes executing?
No, absolutely. I think that when you're building something, you set forth a standard with which your expectations need to be met, not just from the coaching staff, but from within the locker room. Those guys are on the team for a reason. And, when you diligently work, it's funny how opportunities can present themselves. I think, Mike White has been an awesome addition to our team. And then Chosen has remained steadfast in the fact that he wants to be on the team. He probably wouldn't, I don't want to speak for him, but like the amount of respect that he commands by selflessly just going about his business and trying to contribute. He just wants to be a part of his hometown team, and he is, and I think he showed why today.
That your biggest growth in terms of offensive play calling and management has been the way you get plays in, not necessarily the plays that you're calling. How much of a focus was that for you this offseason and working with him to get the plays in quickly?
A huge one. I think that, I speak a lot to the players about getting better. And, I think last year was the first year that I'd done a lot of stuff. And my expectation was to be what everyone deserved. But that being said, that there's going to be things that you can get better at. Well, getting used to calling plays, I think there's the tempo with which we operate and the speed with which my decisions are just very much enhanced from a season's worth of reps. But I think that's very nice of Tua to say. Don't let us equate our growth to anything that has to do with me. My job is to set forth a standard, and I better be getting better at everything. That's what the team needs and deserves. But I could call plays fast as all get out, and they have to execute them. And what Tua is doing is beyond the stat sheet, because we're doing a lot of movement. We're moving a lot of pieces every snap. There's a lot of timing involved with a lot of things that he's doing, not just passing. All of that orchestration and the lack of pre-snap penalties starts with the quarterback position and the immense amount of stuff that he has to learn and execute every week. And then it goes down to all, the entire offense. They're fully committed to their techniques and fundamentals that we ask, and they're starting to really gain that hunger of the continued growth, which is never at rest. It's always there. We have to grow from this game, and we'll continue to focus on that, which is the biggest reason why you're seeing some extra, or you're just seeing some growth in our production from an offensive standpoint.
Speaking of growth, Tua threw 460 yards against the Chargers, mostly pushing the ball downfield past 2 games. It's been mostly underneath. What have you noticed about his growth in the department of being willing to just take what's in front of him and take what's on the field?
No, he's learning every week, man. He's one of the I've said it before on record. He's like the most coachable, best learner that I've ever been around. So everything that happens, you guys, have you heard adversity is an opportunity? Yeah. Well, that's how he looks at it. And he, for instance, he thought he was shortchanging how fast I was getting the plays in last week, and wasn't looking at his wristband fast enough. So he kept the tempo moving. And then you have to execute aggressively what the defense is giving up while they take something away. So, when safeties are super high and wide and deep, he learned from his interception from the Patriots game. In that moment, he was trying to win the game and threw it up to Tyreek, and he had a check down to Raheem Mostert. I think it was on the same play or a very similar play. It wasn't the same play, but a similar situation where he threw in the second half a check down to Devon that last week he would have thrown into tight coverage. And that's all you're trying to do is a lot of people, it's hard to get better continually because it's exhausting and you just want to feel like, man, I've arrived. That's not him. That's why we'll continue to see a better version of him as he progresses. He's a season and 3 games into this offense, and the sky's the limit for him as long as him and his teammates continue to put as much focus on preparation and practice and all of those things that make Sundays possible like that.
All right. I'm going to pause it there because I want to move on to the next interview, Color, because I can hang out for another 15, 20 minutes, okay? Just so you're aware. Do you have any thoughts about that while I get the next one ready?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. No thoughts about what he had to say? Any thoughts you want to give? Anything?
For money. No, just kidding. No, I think that I don't know who he's talking about there being the third game in this offense. It's nobody's third game in this offense, I would hope. But, other than that, I think he's just meaning something different.
I hear you. I gotcha. All right. So next interview we're gonna watch is our star quarterback, Tagovailoa.
Is he talking about A-Chain maybe?
I think
On
he
that
was
last
talking
one?
about A-Chain. I think he was.
Yeah, then that makes sense.
I couldn't hear the people asking the questions very good, to be honest. So I was trying to hear who they were asking about, but I couldn't hear it. All right, here we go, Color.
So I feel like at Alabama, you were probably on the side of a lot of lopsided victories, but does this compare to anything that you've seen or been a part of?
No, this isn't compared to anything that I've seen or been a part of. It just talks about the resilience of our team. Although we were up going into halftime, I'm very proud of the guys and the way they continued to play. No one took their foot off the gas. Everyone continued to play, and that's the result that we got. I wasn't feeling anything. I was just trying to find the open guy and just go through my progressions.
Tua, you tend to do a lot of things with deceiving defenders with their eyes. When you passed the shuffle pass twice to Devon, how satisfying was that? Did you kind of get a little Showtime feeling?
I mean, for our guys that have been practicing with us, our defense and whatnot, like me, no-looking defenders and moving guys with my eyes it's not, it's not something that's new for them to see. So, yeah, I mean, it was cool that we were able to do that and we were able to score. But that's what we said we wanted to do when we installed the play.
We're obviously the classy thing to do is to kneel down and not kick the field goal. But was there any enticement to trying to set the NFL record, which you guys would have had if you had kicked the field goal?
No. I think in this league and around the league, it's about respect in the NFL. And as we went out there, and I feel like that's what we got. We got respect, and we're not trying to go out there and humiliate teams. That's just what it happened to look like. Trying to run the ball, trying to kill some time. Big plays opened up, and that's what it looked like.
Speak to the fact that it's pretty clear after 3 weeks in the season, and I can hear the pundits and the talk shows this week pretty much declaring the Dolphins probably the best offense in the league, at least through 3 weeks. Can you talk about the pride you've taken that as a quarterbacking maybe the best offense in the league right now?
I take a lot of pride in how we perform and how we do things offensively. I just think it's like anything else. If it's a week one deal, you're either Super Bowl contenders or you're the worst team in the league. So I try not to pay attention to any of that. Try to, talk that kind of mindset into our guys offensively to you to put your head down and whatever you've been doing, like with your studying, just continue to do that and stay on that course. When we go, our team goes.
I told you before the game, you're going to get 700 yards and 10 touchdowns. What would you have said? If I saw you on the field.
Yeah. I've been like, all right, cool. But we still got to go out and play. So I would have been like, oh, cool. That's nice of you to say that to us.
When guys are running open as they were at times today, you're being protected. Where do you think Mike is as a play caller right now and as a game planner? Is this the top level you've seen him since you've been here with him?
Yeah, I think this is some of the best that Mike's done, and it's not necessarily the play call as much as how much or how fast Mike gets the play in and how we can operate with our motions, our pre-snap deals, get guys in right positions, and I think he's done a really, really good job. That's something that we've wanted to work on this offseason, and it's paying dividends for us.
Raheem said that.
Real quick, see what I'm talking about, guy? It's not like, oh yeah, I went and did this, and I had 700. No, he's talking about, hey, we just put our head down, go to work, study, make sure we're doing our part. It's a collective, not an individual machine. You know what I'm saying, caller? That's what I'm seeing from this team, top and bottom. It's not about the I, it's about the we. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And that comes right from the coach, man.
Yeah, right from the coach, now our quarterback, and even Tyreek is starting on that. It's about, yeah, we had a good game. Defense did what they had to do. We did this, and that's what I like about it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of funny though, even though that no look pass, for the score and everything, they were able to do it like twice in the game. He's kind of just like brushing off his shoulder, like, yeah, we did that. I'm just glad we got, we were able to do it and we scored and, we move on to the next play. It's like, it's no big deal. You know what I'm saying, Color?
Yeah,
It's
well, I mean, I can understand it a little bit. I haven't wanted to rain on everybody's parade, but shovel pass is supposed to be no look. No look.
No,
it's
no, no.
a design
I
play.
hear you. But the fact he did it with the right hand, bro. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Well,
Most
yeah,
of the
there's that. There's definitely that.
And if you watch the replay, the way he tossed it, like he almost had his back turned to the person. And the motion that the hand was going the arm was
Yeah,
going in.
the play takes a lot of trust. It's designed that way. But
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a
It was
lot of timing, a lot of practice, and a lot of trust in your guys to be where they're supposed to be. When he lets that ball go out of his hands without looking, he's got to know his guy's there, man, and trust that it's going to go the way it has in practice every time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and then here's the other thing, right? Regarding the no look shovel pass, like you're talking about, a lot of times that's when the quarterback is swinging out to the right or to the left on the near the sideline, and there's a running back running next to them. This case, it was right in the middle of the offensive line.
Yeah, that's usually where you set it up. You send the running back in, and he just sits there, and everybody forgets about him, and then you just kind of slide the ball in like that. You know what I mean? We don't see it a lot much anymore, like, or even just in general. But the thing about a shovel pass, when it works like that, and it's like clockwork, and you score on it like that, especially twice, what it tells you is that you have absolutely worked that defense. That defense is completely fooled. They have absolutely no idea what you got going on. And that's how you can make plays like that. You know what I mean? It's really fun to watch, man. And it's really fun to be a part of when it's working.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's keep it going because I want to get this over with and we're going to start closing it down.
You guys worked on the conga line celebration on Friday.
Conga line celebration.
Were you pleased with how the preparation translated into the?
I don't know. I didn't see everyone behind me. I was just looking in the front, so I was like, all right, just go, and hopefully there's more than 5 guys following. I don't know.
to another week of
getting the play in early. I mean, that was the thing last year at times. How do you work on that? And what does it mean to you when you get the play in, earlier rather than later?
Yeah. So in practice, I mean, we all know that.
Can you just touch on just the pregame, just when you spoke with them and just seeing them again?
Yeah, I talked to Russ. He did his pregame deal. I did my pregame deal before the game started. Talked to him, said what's up, had a little conversation. That was basically it. Just wished him well. Best of luck. Hope that he can stay healthy, all of that. And then after the game was basically the same. It was really cool to see Jerry Jeudy, Pat Surtain, a couple of the guys that I've been able to play with at Alabama. They're doing all they can over there on that side of the ball to help their team win games. I'm proud of how far they've come, and it's really cool to see ex-teammates in college performing and being able to go out and play against each other.
Asked this already, but to put up 70 points, 10 touchdowns without Jalen Waddle, this offense seems like the sky's the limit.
Yeah. I mean, we always have the next guy mentality going, but when we do have Jalen Waddle, it does present a lot more challenges for defenses. But needless to say, we got our run game going. We had our deal with our pass game, our action game. So I'm very proud of the guys and the way they came out. But yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right. So that was Tua Tagovailoa.
What I do like about that is the ambidextrousness behind it. Like, seriously, being able to just do it from each direction like that,
That's
bro.
what I'm talking about. That's impressive.
That's so deadly against the defense, bro. It's like, what do you do, man?
Yeah, I mean, because most of the time when you see that play, it's always with the person's throwing arm. It always is.
And you never see it twice in a game like that easily executed. You know what I mean?
And the other thing is, and people at home, if you try this at home, if you're not sure, if you're hold on one second. This did not close like I thought it would. Okay. If you don't know if you're ambidextrous or not, try taking a ball. Doesn't have to be a football, any ball, and try doing a no-look toss to somebody with your non-throwing hand. Okay, in this case, it's my left hand that's non-throwing. I can't throw with my left hand. I throw with my right. Right? Try doing it. It is very tough. It's tough with accuracy. The accuracy altogether is tough. You might be able to toss the ball 4 or 5 yards or a few, maybe full.
Right, and a toss pitch is pretty easy. Like if you're talking about like what a normal shovel pass looks like, that underneath flip up your wrist type, that's not too hard to do ambidex because these guys run practice option football throughout high school and they do it both sides of the field. So they're having to flip out with their left hand just as well as their right on that triple option stuff, which I'm sure at some point in his younger days Tua ran a lot of. You know what I mean? They ran a lot of what we're doing in Alabama right now too. So, but yeah, generally speaking, it's weird because some things are easy to be ambidextrous about and some things aren't. Like I can't throw an over 12 to 6 o'clock pass with my left hand, but I can throw a shovel with my left. You know what I mean? Or I can't do this or that with my left hand, but I can kick a ball with my left foot. You know what I mean? It's like weird stuff, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Lewis, who's in the chat. Now, if you didn't know, I believe Lewis is on vacation, if I'm correct. I'm not going to say where because it's nobody's business, but I will say he's on vacation out of town. So shout out to Lewis. Lewis, if you're here, if we're getting this type of
Wally World?
No. Yeah, Wally World.
Well, no, I'm thinking of the place in vacation. What was that called?
I know. Wally World. It was Wally World. Listen. If we're getting this type of performance with Lewis out of town, Lewis, just stay where you're at. Don't come back into town until after the season and the Super Bowl.
Lewis is banned from Florida for until further notice.
Yeah, if that's the case. I thought it was this week. I could be wrong. It may not be this week. But I'm pretty sure. I don't. He doesn't.
Yeah, he was preparing for it yesterday. That's why he was out of commission. In the community.
Yeah. So don't come back until the season's over with. Just saying. Color has. And listen to this. If you didn't know, Color wore a Tua Tagovailoa t-shirt to the game. Yes, number uno, QB1 was the t-shirt he wore. Right? If you didn't know, that was the big new breaking news. Now he's gonna probably frame that, never wash it again, because he wants to keep this going. So that has to happen.
Yeah, I am not washing that shirt until we lose.
Yes. And then Lewis has to stay out of town. What was the other one? There was one other thing that has to happen every time.
Batman, or no, not Batman. Was it Batman that wears the?
But no, Batman has been going to church now a lot more.
Oh,
At least
that's right.
he talks about it. He may have before, I don't know, but he talks about it that he's been going every week. And if that is the case, then please continue to do so. Just keep doing that. It is working. Whatever these people are doing. And I'm not growing my hair long again. I'm keeping it short. I'm going to keep getting it cut. So, yeah, it's working. Rock and roll.
Telling you.
Oh, man. So, listen, it is 8:23 a.m. this morning. Currently, it is, let's see, the Miami weather. I'll give it to you. It's 79 degrees, high of 89. It's another hot day. It was hot yesterday. It's going to be hot today, right? It's currently 76% humidity. Slight chance of rain this morning, but the afternoon showers may pick up about 24% chance. It's not till later at night. Overnight, they have almost a 50% chance of rain. That's when you see the rain going to be rolling in.
I can tell you one place on the planet that's going to be hotter than South Florida today.
Kuwait, where
the surface of Joseph's office chair.
Oh, that's burnt toast, bro. I don't know if you can get hotter than that. That's toast.
Oh man, that's just rough stuff, man.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that's right. Thank you for reminding me, El Cap. So, Lewis, I said it last night's show. If you heard me correctly, I would like my Super Bowl tickets to be on the 50-yard line, please. Just gonna point that out. Yeah. So.
Yeah, man. I came in. It was like 7:40 when I came in. There's 50 people watching it. Like, wow, really? You think we might have put up a 70 ribeye last night? What's up? Or yesterday? Like,
it was ridiculous.
Dang. Everybody's like, I gotta get up. We gotta find out what's said about this stuff, man. Setting their alarms at 6 o'clock, man.
There's 14 games left, right?
Fun.
Oh, right. There's 14 games, correct? I'm asking.
I think, yep, something like that.
Right. So, let's see. I'm just checking something real quick. I'm doing some math. Just bear with me a second. And how many yards does he have this year so far? There we go. All right. So just to put this in perspective, if he were to only throw 300 yards per game for the rest of the season, if he only averaged that, we would have, with what he currently has accrued, he would have about 5,224 yards, right? But more than likely, he's going to have games that are more than 300 yards. He may have a couple that are 350. He may even have a couple of 400 burgers in it, right? We could actually maybe see him throw for 6,000 yards if it's played out to executed to perfection. Probably won't happen, but it is possible, Color.
That's crazy. Think about this.
Go ahead.
If the season were to be reset and start today, we only need 8 wins to have 11 wins. We'd only need to go 8 wins to get there, to get to 11.
Yeah.
We won 9 last year. We've won 9 games the last 3 years in a row. You know?
Listen.
Why would this trend just all of a sudden stop? I mean, yeah, we might have a bad game. We might have a letdown. When you're putting 70 points up, it's pretty common to have a letdown. But what's a letdown? 50 points? 42 points? What's a letdown?
Yeah, I definitely hear you.
I love it. I love it.
Listen, I know Jay is trying
to
lose.
You can't lose putting up 70 points. That's all I'm saying.
Jay's trying to put down what I was talking about when it comes to, you know, the rate that we're at. I understand that you feel that there might be a game where he only gets 250 or 200 yards, which I've looked at this season. I don't see why he can't put up 300 yards or more against
Why
any of
wouldn't he
them.
have one where's over 400 for to match those 200s?
With the exception of the Eagles, who I think the Eagles have a little bit better secondary than some of the other teams that are out there. So that might be questionable, but even they're iffy because their season hasn't turned out the way that they are expecting either.
Yeah,
but
if we're losing to the Eagles because we only put up 280 yards rushing, passing. I mean, like it's the
my
Eagles.
My point of bringing it up was the fact that it's not impossible, Color.
Right.
It's
And
maybe
there
not
certainly ain't
probable,
no reason to
but it's
like
not
think
impossible.
that there's no reason to think that we're some kind of inferior team rolling into Philadelphia now. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you guys are on this train, let's be doom and gloom, negative, and just be mediocre. I'm sorry, we're not that team anymore.
Well,
We're
and even
not.
if you did, I respect that, but it just ends the conversation. I mean, if you don't want to look at this point, if it's going to be about, well, we can't really be sure or trust this, well, then that just ends the conversation. I mean, if you and I are talking about how we're going to win the next game, and you just say, oh, well, anything we do is going to be thwarted by the trap or thwarted because this or that or the other, then that just shuts down the conversation. I mean, okay, you think we're going to get trapped and there's nothing left to talk about. That's pretty boring.
Yeah.
It's not about expecting optimism or pessimism. I'm pessimistic too for certain things. But at the same time, if I'm like what we saw leading up to this game, if we're all sitting here talking about what we can, because the analytics and all this other stuff says that we're highly favored, and we want to embrace that and say, well, not only how are we going to win, but how could we blow them out? I don't think it's, and somebody just says, well, they're an inferior team, so it could be a trap game. Well, that just shuts down the conversation. Okay, it's a trap game. Then what are we even talking about then?
Yeah.
There's no way to win if it's a trap game. You know what I mean? Like, okay, conversation over. And I just think that's boring. When we're winning right now, we're 3-0. We're, you know what I mean, and we're doing great things. And why sit here and go, oh well, it's all going to end soon? Well, we know that, but why does it have to? We are a team that has gone undefeated.
Yeah,
sure, it happened a long time ago. It happened a long time ago. But guess what? No other team has done it. So when you talk about, oh, those crazy Dolphin fans thinking they're going 17-0, oh yeah, because at least we have factual evidence to show that we have the capability of doing it as an organization. No other organization has done it in any professional sports.
Not even the Patriots.
So it's just like when people say, well, you're not going to put up a 70 burger every week. Well, no kidding. It hasn't happened in 57 years.
Yeah.
But guess who just did it? We did. Not the Buffalo Bills, not the Vegas Raiders, not the Patriots, not anybody. We just did that.
We did. Listen. I want to say this real quick. Now, Jay makes a good point here regarding the Buffalo game. It says, Ali, 2016 was the last time we beat Buffalo. In Buffalo, Miami needs to prove it. Listen, you might be right about that, but if you go back and look at last season, both of the games in Buffalo, we lost by 3 points, right?
And we
before,
steadily improved.
Hold on. Before we even get to that, think about the 3 points that we lost. You lost with the first game playing an offense that not even the quarterback or the wide receiver, your star wide receiver, really understood the offense, really, right? But they executed it enough to become within 3 points of beating you, right? The Buffalo Bills. Then fast forward to the playoff game. Again,
now it's just a matter of coaching because you're decimated on injury,
Yeah, you're decimated on injury, right? You have a 7th round No name quarterback. Nobody knew who this guy was until we drafted him, right? A 7th-round quarterback comes within 3 points of beating the Buffalo Bills.
Right,
in
right.
Buffalo,
Which
right?
tells you that we have the players that can do it, and we have the coach that can do it. If they're
Yes.
all there on the
And-
same week and everybody's healthy and we execute,
Yeah. And here's the kicker
Buffalo.
color. And here's the kick color. The reason this offense is looking so good now compared to last season, even though it looked good at times last season, is because they all understand the playbook now. They understand the scheme. They've mastered it. They've had a whole season of it to understand. They have built the chemistry. They know the points. They know where they need to be. You understand? They understand it and they've
they
mastered
know
it.
what could go wrong
When
before
you
it goes
have-
wrong.
When you have knowledge that's this big, right? And now over a year's time, it's this big, you have to understand that there's going to be a much more competitiveness to this team. They're going to bring something that Buffalo hasn't seen from Miami in a long time, right? And
it's ours to lose. I mean,
it's
just
our
bottom
games to
line,
lose. It's our game.
all
to
of
lose.
what Jay is saying is valid, bro. It really is.
Yeah,
I
I
just
understand.
happen to believe that it's not, that the trend is going to continue. That's the
Mhm.
only, like Jay is saying, you know, let me see it. Like you said, we didn't beat them. Okay, that's true. And this is all of what he's saying is absolutely true. We have to see this stuff. I'm
Yeah.
just saying now, I am declaring for myself that I believe we can. I believe this trend can continue. I don't believe
we
this
can
is
do
a. I don't believe this is a you know, a house of cards, if you want to use that analogy. I really
Mhm.
don't. You
Mhm.
don't just put up 70 points on somebody in the NFL, bad team or not. And I said this last night, and Jay, I'm sure Jay heard it. You know, give 40 points back to the Broncos because they're that bad of a team. Okay, let's do that. Let's do this exercise. Give them back 40 of our points from yesterday.
We still win.
And we still win 30-20.
Oh man.
I mean,
Give
that
them
is,
45
I
points, we
think
still-
people are really, as much as we're excited about it and as much as the league is on fire about what we did yesterday, I think the average person still underestimates what we did yesterday.
100% color. 100%. Listen, color. Any final takes? I do have to go to work. Any final
Nah,
takes?
that'll be it. That'll be it. Fins up. I'm really happy. Man, I burned a lot of energy yesterday, bro, and I'm still doing it. But man, what a game.
Yeah, what a game. Listen, this is Top of the Tailgate. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. I appreciate everybody that showed up. We have a team. We have a running back. We have a quarterback. We have an organization to stand behind. Let's get it going. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. We'll see you guys tomorrow. With that said, everyone, fins up.